Hi everyone. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about perennial forages and some of the trials that we have going up here at Borderview Farm. And for many of you that have been here at the field day the past few years, we've actually viewed the legume trial that we've had. And one of the pieces of data that we've been collecting for the last few years is survival. So we hear a lot from farmers that the legumes don't survive out in our fields very long. And so we're really curious to better understand which legume species survive the best. Are there some varieties that survive better than others? And look at that over the lifespan of 100% legume seeding. So our legume crop was seeded in 2017 in the fall. And we took our first harvest in 2018. And in 2018, we had, mostly a pure stand, so 100% legume. From 2018 to 2019, we had severe winter kill. And then 2019 now into 2020, we had a mild winter combined with a really dry season. So what we've been doing is measuring how much of the legumes survive. What kind of stand do we have? So right now, if you look at alfalfa, red clover, bird's foot trefoil, or white clover, you can see in 2019, the alfalfa, 70% of the stand had survived. And in 2020, we still had 70% of the stand out of a start of 100%. Red clover was coming in second, where in 2019 we had about 60% of a full stand, and now in 2020 a little under 50%. Bird's foot trefoil and white clover really have declined the most, where with bird's foot trefoil last year in 2019, we only had 40% of the crop left, and now in 2020, less than 10%. So in our case, maybe with the drought conditions and winter kill, we've seen a big reduction in our bird's foot trefoil stands. Very similar trend with white clover, also now below 50%, looks like, we're down to 30% of the stand left. So given the conditions that we have, which is what we have, dry, a hard winter, basically what we're seeing, at least up here at Borderview Research Farm, is that red clover and alfalfa have seemed to survive the best under those conditions. Oh, the other thing I would like to talk about today is the drought and how that's impacting the perennial grass species. So they're cool season species that like water and cooler weather. Neither condition we've had this year. It's been dry and hot. So I just wanted to show, and I'm sure you've seen this in your field, the impact that that has had on yields. And one of the goals here is to really understand what grass species is going to perform the best. Wet, dry, hot, cold. We need a species and a varieties that regardless of what the weather throws at us, we're going to get some decent yields. So in 2017, we had a very wet year, and in 2020 right now, one of the driest years we've seen. And you can see that in a wet year, meadow fescue yielded over a ton of dry matter on the first cut. And this year, in a dry year, it only yielded about 0.6 of a dry ton. So a 49% reduction, or 49% of the stand. Orchard grass and Timothy both yielded really well in a wet year. And both of those have really hung on better than the meadow fescue in a dry year. So here's some data from this year, looking at first and second cut, and again it's been dry regardless. So we have all the species: meadow brome, meadow fescue, orchard grass, perennial ryegrass, and timothy. And you can see that orchard grass and perennial ryegrass yielded the highest, and perennial ryegrass by far had the highest first and second cut. Seems to be a little bit less or more tolerant of the dry weather. The other piece that I'd like you to look at are the individual varieties. So variety selection does matter. And you can see there are clearly varieties that outperform in each species class. So this data will be available at the end of the season for everyone to look at. And please pay attention to the varieties that you're selecting. It's really critical to productivity. Here's our alfalfa data. Same here, we talked about this at our last field day, especially given the leafhopper damage. So here's no leafhoppers because it's leafhopper resistant alfalfa, leafhopper not resistant alfalfa, and it does help produce better yields when you have a resistant variety. We'll wrap this up. Just want to end by saying variety matters, and just picking a variety not stated or whatever you used to use or your parents used is probably not the best approach, or the approach of saying just give me what you've got, because there clearly are differences in variety, and we all know this about corn, but it's the same thing with grasses and legumes. And I know a lot of people love to plant timothy, and you can see clearly that timothy varieties yield very differently depending on the variety. Same with bromes, meadow fescues. So please pay attention to our variety trial data. It will clearly help you get more yields and quality. You can see some of the orchard grass here. It's actually looking really well. Seems to be holding up okay. Better, way better than some of our other grasses. The meadow fescue's holding up okay, but definitely doesn't seem to be doing quite as well as the orchard grass. And the perennial ryegrass, it did yield well the last two cuts, but you can see it's headed out here, and I don't know. Oh wait, do you hear that? What in the world? Oh my goodness, what is that? Oh, it's Corny, it's Corny. Hi, Corny. Just reminded me, thank goodness we got rain. I was really worried about the corn. It was really starting to curl up and look really drought stressed. And you can see it's tasseling and starting to silk. And when we got that rain, it was really timely, because corn uses the most water during silking and tasseling. And if it doesn't have ample water, you can see pretty significant yield declines. Every day that those leaves are curled up, it's about an 8% yield drop, especially in ear size. So glad it rained. Corny, good